talked about your fruit tree method for kind of pruning these large stock positions. And then with that method, you talked about covered calls and how they generate income. Could you explain that a little bit more? And also, what's a covered call?
Yeah, okay. That's a complex question. So the fruit tree method is just somebody who has a large holding in an individual stock. Usually it's because they work there, as far as that goes, but not always. And so you've got this big position, it's worth a lot. It's becoming a dominant part of your portfolio. There's some concern if something happens to that company that it would have an adverse effect your overall financial health. And so sometimes what we'll do is we'll pick a target, some dollar amount or some percentage of assets. So I'll make up a number, say $1 million. So if it grows to $1.1 million, right, then we're going to prune and or take off the fruit of the fruit tree there. We're going to take off that $100,000 and put it in something else, something more diversified. And so we'll keep it going. It just keeps that $1 million there. And that's the fruit tree concept. I think it's a cool concept. It actually allows you to continue to benefit from a company that could be fantastic without ending up with 90% of your money potentially in this one thing that then falls apart and now you're in financial ruin, right? So kind of bridges the gap. But then there's some strategies that you can use to try to kind of enhance even that. So now I've got 1.1 million. I want to sell 100,000. Well, one of the things that we can do there, which I really enjoy, you can put in a stop loss under that $100,000 worth of shares, pretty close, like just 5% below. And so if it drops a little bit, yeah, you'll get it. You'll get your 95,000. That's fine. And what you want to do then is maybe do a call option, a 30-day call option, maybe 10 or 15% above the price. And so I'll explain what that is in a minute, but in essence, what happens if during that 30 days your stock grows 10 or 15% in that time frame, you'll often be called away. So you might get 110 or 115,000. But whenever you sell that call option, you're also getting money. You're getting an income source. So theoretically, if that thing stays between the stop loss and the call, and you do call months after months, you can actually make money on that and still be protected on that fruit piece of that tree. So call option, in this case, what's called a covered call, is where you have the actual stock. So Apple or something. So I have Apple and I have $100,000 worth of Apple that is going to be my fruit that I want to pick off of this tree. And so I can go and sell a call option. That just gives somebody else the right to purchase that Apple at, let's say, 10 or 15% higher, than the current price. And that is a strategy that works out really well because it, allows that 100 to grow if it's going to continue to grow, still moving up that stop loss, kind of every month, and then essentially keeping that call option going month after month. And you can generate income off of that while you're waiting to sell that stock. Instead of just selling it, you have a chance, maybe you sell it, it's 150,000 and you've generated 5-6 months worth of income off of the call option before it finally triggers one way or another, either comes down and hits the stop loss or goes up and gets called away, right? That's an awesome strategy in my opinion, and it's kind of fun. It's an easy thing to do. That sounds somewhat complicated, but it's a strategy that is I think pretty fun to implement as far as I'm concerned.
So for the stocks in these like covered calls, are there any requirements? I know usually for a call contract, you need 100 shares at least when you do these
That's
contracts.
exactly right. So it works well for the fruit tree concept because usually we're talking about pretty big dollars. But exactly right. You need 100 shares to buy one contract. So, for example, if you wanted to sell 50 shares, you couldn't do a covered call on 50 shares. You have to have 100 shares. So, and that's why it's kind of interesting with some of these stocks that have really high prices. Amazon and Google are a lot higher than, say, Apple. But yeah, exactly. That is one of the criteria. Generally speaking, in my opinion, you don't want to do that on a little teeny stock personally. There's just too much volatility. The call options aren't that liquid. We live in Silicon Valley. I have yet to see a company that doesn't have a lot of liquidity here. NVIDIA and Apple and Cisco and Intel and eBay and PayPal and Square and there's an awful lot of companies that have plenty of liquidity in their option market. At least here, we're kind of lucky in that way.